By now, Vera's vehicle has reached the gates of the Sinclair Villa district. A barrier blocks the entrance. 2 security guards, infected, stagger beside it, along with a handful of residents who never made it out. Vera tells AVA to ram through. The F-11 shatters the barrier and rolls to a stop in front of Rosalie's house. The infected hear the noise. They start drifting toward them. Vera doesn't wait. She slices through the lot from across the courtyard, dropping them one after another in a single arc of motion. It's the first time Quentin, Bex, and the others see her full power up close. None of them speak for a moment. The awe is quiet but absolute. Wait here, Vera says to Quentin, Tate, Bex, and Dr. Lane. If a straggler shows up, take the practice. Kai and I are going in with Rosalie. No one argues. Rosalie, on the other hand, the closer she gets, the more afraid she is. Her steps slow, her hand trembles as it lifts to the keypad. She closes her fist, takes a long breath, then keys in the code, beep, incorrect code. She frowns and looks up at the house number. She isn't at the wrong door. So why is the code wrong? Did her parents change it without telling her? She doesn't believe it. She tries again. Same result. I'm entering it right. Why isn't it working? Rosalie says. Then a thought hits her. If the code was changed, maybe her parents are inside. Her heart starts to pound. She knocks. Mom? Dad? Are you in there? Silence. Vera and Kai both feel it at the same moment. Something is off. Vera pulls Rosalie back behind her. Someone's in there, she says quietly. Living room. I sense one person. Kai confirms. Same place. Yeah, same read. Vera shears the lock with a thread-thin spatial blade and kicks the door open. She and Kai bracket Rosalie between them and step inside. What do you want? The man inside isn't Rosalie's father. He's middle-aged, in a security uniform, brandishing a kitchen knife and shaking hands. He swings it in wild, useless arcs. Why are you in my house? Rosalie demands. Her voice cracks. The hope she'd been carrying collapses in her chest. She'd thought for one stupid second that her parents might still be home. Your house? The man visibly relaxes when he hears her say it. I just came in to hide, he explains. I'm a guard here. I was on patrol when one of my coworkers lost it and bit a resident to death. I panicked. There were monsters at both ends of the street. Nowhere to go. So I climbed in. How did you get in? Vera asks. Her voice is flat. He waves both hands quickly. The back window wasn't locked. I came in through there. Vera glances toward the rear of the house. The Sinclair Villa has a front and back layout. The main entrance is where they came in. The back opens onto floor-to-ceiling glass doors and a small walled garden. What he says is technically possible. Rosalie knows her parents are too trusting. The neighborhood has always been safe. They often leave the back unlocked. She lets her guard drop, then asks the only thing that matters. When you came in, was there anyone home? He shakes his head. No one. She turns to Vera, dull. Let's go. She doesn't see the flicker of triumph cross his face when she says it. But Kai does. His mental sense is wide open, and the spike of relief and victory in the man's head is unmistakable. Hold on, Kai says, calm. Even Vera catches the shift in his tone instantly. Her attention locks onto the man. The guard squirms under her stare and rubs his hands. Miss, please, I'm not a bad person. The situation being what it is, I had to get in somewhere. Vera doesn't reply. Rosalie feels the air change. What's wrong? She asks, suddenly alarmed. Kai picks up a birthday card from the side table. Ribbon tied, hand decorated. He reads it, then passes it silently to Rosalie. Her hands shake as she opens it. Her father's handwriting. To my dearest daughter Rosalie, happy 21st birthday. May you find the courage to face every challenge this year and chase every dream of yours. Your mother and I wish you health, happiness, and a life with no weight on your shoulders. Always our carefree little princess. P.S. Are you upset that Dad couldn't come home? Joke's on you, sweetheart. Your mother and I planned a surprise. Ha, okay, she's scolding me now. I'll stop hiding it. Come upstairs to the second floor. The guard sees something flicker across Rosalie's face. He knows he's been caught. He lunges at Vera with the knife, a twisted smile already forming. Sure, he's about to land it, but the last few inches stretch into infinity. He can't close the gap. Not a centimeter. Vera has folded the space around him. He hangs there mid-strike, frozen like a specimen pinned in glass. My parents? They were planning a surprise? Rosalie's voice breaks. They're home? They're upstairs? She tears toward the staircase like something inside her snapped. Vera goes after her, calling Kai to keep watch on the man. The second floor is empty. The hallway is decorated. Flowers, balloons, a small display at the end with a property deed, and car keys laid out on velvet. A birthday surprise. The kind only parents who really love their daughter would put together. They're upstairs, Vera calls. She can feel the signature now, the proximity sharp. Rosalie doesn't hesitate. She bolts up to the third floor. She pushes open the master bedroom door, and her father is there. Eyes open, not blinking. His throat is opened wide. His hands are still cupped around the wound. Useless, futile, frozen. Crimson sprays the wall in front of him. The light in his eyes is gone. But Vera can read what was there in his final moment. Disbelief. Fury. And written across his face, the clearest of all, regret. Dad! Rosalie's scream tears the room apart. She throws herself onto his body. Vera covers her mouth. Tears spill before she can stop them. But she still feels another presence in the room, living. She steps into the walk-in closet and finds Mrs. Sinclair, bound at the wrists and ankles, wounds across her body, lying on the floor. Vera can't tell at first if she's alive. She crouches, 2 fingers to the throat, a pulse, weak. But there. Rosalie, Vera's voice catches. Your mom's still alive. Rosalie howls like a wounded animal. She can't stand. She crawls, half dragging herself across the floor to her mother. Mom, please, wake up! She tears at the ropes, sobbing. Don't leave me here too. Her mother doesn't respond. Vera's own tears come now, and she doesn't try to stop them. The Sinclairs were good people. They had always supported her, quietly, without making a thing of it. Gifts on every holiday because they were worried she'd be alone. Mr. Sinclair driving Vera home with Rosalie whenever the two went out. She forces herself to think, to plan. Mrs. Sinclair has been brutalized, tortured by the look of it. Starved on top of it, there's no medical equipment, no doctor, no surgery. Pills aren't going to do anything. Vera opens the system interface and messages Salu emergency. Do you have anything that can save someone severely injured, close to death? Reply now. Lucky for her, ever since the Z-Core research began, Salu has been keeping the system within reach. Salu, yes. Any other symptoms? Poisoning? Mental damage? Vera, no. Blade and blunt force injuries. Prolonged starvation. Salu, understood. Preparing now. Salu has been agonizing over how to deepen the relationship and pull in more Z-Cores. This is the opening he was waiting for. He doesn't stall. He doesn't gouge the price. He sends the robot through with the package immediately. Rosalie? It's going to be okay. I can save her. Help her drink some water first. Give me a few minutes. Vera presses a bottle into Rosalie's hands. She knows shock when she sees it. A concrete task is the only thing that will keep Rosalie upright. It works. Rosalie wipes her face. She looks at Vera with the eyes of someone clinging to a rope. Okay. While Rosalie tends to her mother, Vera walks back to Mr. Sinclair's body. She studies him. He's in his 50s, strong build. A man like that doesn't get his throat cut from the front without a fight. There's no fear on his face. Only regret. He let the guard in, out of kindness, and kindness got him a knife. The anger that rises in Vera's chest is the cold kind, the kind that decides things. A few minutes later, Salu's package arrives. He doesn't haggle. He attaches it to the trade and tells the system to charge her nothing. Salu, cellular regeneration compound, heals damaged tissue, accelerates recovery. I've also sent 2 bioenergy vials to keep her alive through the worst of it. And a few cartridges of medical nanobots. They enter the bloodstream and repair internal damage. Salu, compound is taken orally. The other 2, inject anywhere. Vera. Got it. Thank you. She takes one of each. There's no time to explain anything. She tilts Mrs. Sinclair's head and gets the compound down her throat, then administers both injections into the arm. Rosalie doesn't ask. She just holds her mother's hand and prays, in a way she'd never used before. Vera waits, tense. Shelu was confident. That doesn't make the wait easier. The compound works fast. The smaller wounds on Mrs. Sinclair's face begin to close, visibly in real time. The bruises lighten. 10 minutes in, her eyes flutter open. "Mom!" Rosalie cries, then claps a hand over her own mouth, terrified of startling her. Mrs. Sinclair's eyes are cloudy. There's still discoloration along her cheekbone, where she was struck. It takes her a few seconds to focus. When she sees her daughter, she can't speak. Tears slide down her temples. Rosalie collapses onto her chest and sobs. Vera steps back. She lets them have this. It's a long time before either of them can breathe normally. Vera worries the strain will be too much for Mrs. Sinclair's body. "Rosalie, why don't we get your mom back to the vehicle to rest?" "Okay." Rosalie nods. "Thank you." "Vera." She turns and wipes her mother's tears away gently. "Mom, we're getting you somewhere safe. Vera gave you medicine. You'll be able to eat soon." Mrs. Sinclair nods weakly. Her eyes find Vera and stay there, grateful in a way that needs no words. To spare her the sight of her husband's body, Vera uses spatial shift and lifts both women straight back to the F-11. "Rosalie, stay with her. I'll handle the rest," Vera says. The thought of the guard slams back into Rosalie's mind. Her face changes. Hatred, raw and new. "Vera, I want him to pay with his life." Vera lays a hand on her shoulder. "He'll regret it, I promise you that." She doesn't need Rosalie to say it. She had no intention of letting him walk anyway. Back inside, the guard has clearly seen what Kai can do. He's slumped against the wall, no fight left. He looks up when Vera walks in. Kai meets her gaze with a question. He still doesn't know exactly what happened upstairs. Kai opens the link. "Are you okay?" "Not okay. Her father is dead. Her mother was tortured." Vera's reply is flat. Glacial. He feels the cold sitting under it. He sends a gentle pulse of mental presence back, like an arm around her shoulders. She gives him a look that says, "I'm fine." She steps in front of the guard. "Why?" she asks. He tries one more time to play dumb. "Why what?" He looks like a simple, working-class man. The kind of face you wouldn't suspect of anything. No one would have guessed he could turn a knife on someone who'd shown him kindness. Vera stares at him. The space around his body begins to warp. Then, like cuts from a deli slicer, dozens of paper-thin sheets of flesh peel off his forearm, one after another. Clean, surgical. The scream comes out raw. The shock of it is worse than the pain itself. "Why?" Vera asks again. His face goes gray. Sweat beads up across his forehead. "What? What are you talking about? I don't understand. Please, please." She doesn't answer. She just begins the same process on his other arm. Both arms become unrecognizable. Raw meat. I'll tell you everything." He breaks. His name is Walden Burke, 45 years old. Worked security here for a few months. Day after day patrolling the Villa district, Walden had built a quiet resentment. Why did these rich families get to live in palaces while he rented a closet across town? He'd kept it inside his head. Just a grudge. Background noise. Then the collapse hit. His first version of the story wasn't a complete lie. He had panicked. He had stumbled into the back of the Sinclair house. Mr. Axey and Mrs. Sinclair were home. Upstairs. Setting up the birthday surprise. Hearing noise downstairs, Mr. Sinclair went to check. He saw a stranger in his garden. The back door was usually unlocked, but the Sinclairs had locked it before their work trip and hadn't reopened it since coming back. Walden couldn't get in on his own. When he saw Mr. Sinclair, he played the drowning man and begged. Mr. Sinclair, against his better instincts, let him in. Listened to him describe people turning into monsters, biting their neighbors. Then looked over his garden wall and saw the same horror happening on the street. The two of them locked every window and door. They retreated upstairs. Mr. Sinclair told his wife what was happening. They began to worry about their daughter, who should have been on her way home from the university by then. They waited. They tried Rosalie's phone. Nothing. Mr. Sinclair decided he would go look for her himself. Mrs. Sinclair didn't try to stop him. She just stood there in silence as he drove out, tears running down her face, praying he'd come back with their daughter. Neither of them realized a different kind of monster was already inside the house. Walden sat on their couch, shaking. Mrs. Sinclair, kind woman, mistook it for fear and brought him a glass of warm water. Only Walden knew what was really running through him. Fear, yes, but also adrenaline. Excitement. The Sinclair villa was enormous, tasteful. A single guest room here was the size of his entire apartment. The world was already broken. Laws were already gone. This was the chance Walden Burke had been waiting for his whole life. He waited for Mrs. Sinclair to turn her back. Then he hit her over the head. He bound her. He gagged her. He dragged her into the bedroom. Then he sprawled out on the couch and thought about what to do with the husband. He hoped, almost lazily, that Mr. Sinclair and the daughter would both die out there and save him the trouble. 2 hours later, Mr. Sinclair came back. Bruised, shaken. "Evelyn," he called out, voice breaking. "There were so many accidents on the road. I couldn't find her." No answer. Walden made his face concerned. "Your wife?" She fainted. I think the worry got to her. Mr. Sinclair ran for the stairs. He pushed open the bedroom door and saw his wife tied to the bed. He understood, but by then it was already too late. Walden grabbed the fruit knife off the dresser and cut Mr. Sinclair's throat from behind in one motion. Mr. Sinclair dropped, the light already going out of him. His last words were a whisper. "Don't kill her." Maybe Walden thought Mrs. Sinclair wasn't a threat. Or maybe he just wanted an audience for what he'd done. Either way, he didn't kill her. He wanted her to die slowly. He wanted her to watch her husband bleed out. He didn't forget about the daughter either. He changed the front door code and put her out of his mind. One girl, location unknown, probably dead, not worth worrying about. I told you everything. Please, let me live." Walden is on his knees. Snot, tears, blood. He bows his head to the floor. Vera feels a stone sitting on her chest. She can't breathe right. She lowers her head. Walden, for a moment, thinks she's about to spare him. Then Vera raises her hand. Like a conductor leading an orchestra, each lift of her wrist erases a section of his body. Not slicing, erasing. Patches of him simply stop existing. He thrashes on the floor. "Does it hurt?" Vera says, voice level. "Because that doesn't even cover half the pain you put them through. They could have lived. You could have lived. I might even have let you live well." Walden does feel regret, but not the right kind. He regrets waiting. He regrets not finishing the job before help arrived. He hates that he doesn't have a gift. If he did, he'd be the one standing. Kai catches it instantly through the mental link. His face flattens. He's rotten to the core. Kai says, "That's all Vera needs to hear." She makes a small motion. Walden's head simply disappears. What's left is a headless body sprawled across the floor of the Sinclairs' living room. Rosalie comes back down. Her mother is stable. Vera moves to block her view. "Rosalie, don't come in. Let's bury your dad together. You don't need to see this." But Rosalie's voice is iron. "I want to see what happened to that animal." Vera stops trying to shield her. She knows what this is. Rosalie doesn't want to be a sheltered bird under her wing anymore. Vera understands. She makes room. Rosalie walks up to Walden's body. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't gag. What's on her face isn't horror. It's release. She kicks the body once. Hard. In the side. Then again. She empties everything into that motion. When her foot stops, she finally looks calmer. Vera, his head. Gone. Erased. Can you erase the rest? I don't want him in my house. Yeah. Vera flicks her wrist. The body dissolves into nothing. I want to bury Dad in the garden, Rosalie says. Her voice trembles, but doesn't break. When he was alive, he liked sitting in the porch swing out there. Reading with Mom. Okay. The three of them carry Mr. Sinclair's body downstairs the slow way without using gifts. Vera collapses the dirt into the system and opens a clean grave in the garden. She places him in. She returns the soil. Rosalie clips a single white rose and places it on the grave. She kneels. She presses the birthday card to her chest, then to the earth. A final goodbye. "Let's go," she says, standing. Then she crumples. Vera catches her on the way down. Vera lifts her gently and carries her back to the F11. As she walks, she feels something stirring inside Rosalie's body. Energy. Building. Vera. System. Is she awakening? System. Yes. Vera lays Rosalie on the lounge sofa. Mrs. Sinclair is recovering in a separate cabin. Vera doesn't want her to worry. She lets out a long breath. This morning, the group had been full of momentum. Who would have guessed this is how the day would end? Rosalie's parents had survived the collapse. They had been fine, and then one bad man walked into their kitchen. Rosalie lost her father. Forever. And Vera herself. Vera had crossed a line she'd never crossed before. First kill. Cruel kill. She closes her eyes. The image of Walden bleeding and begging won't leave. "Are you okay?" Kai comes in. He crouches in front of her. He has just briefed Quentin and the others outside, told them they would continue toward Linwood once everyone was settled. Vera leans forward and puts her arms around his neck without a word. Kai folds her against him. His hand moves slow circles on her back. "Do you think I went too far?" she asks. Quiet. He stops. He lifts her chin and looks at her, level. "No. Cruelty towards someone evil isn't cruelty. It's how you keep the people you love alive. You didn't do anything wrong, Vera." He earned what he got. "I know, I do know. And the world being what it is now, I'll have to do worse, more often. It's just that this was the first one. It sits heavier." She breathes out long and slow. "That's fair," Kai says. "All I want you to know is, do what you think is right. That's the only standard that matters." The convoy starts rolling again. 2 vehicles, side by side, headed toward Linwood. Rosalie is still in the awakening process. Her body starts to run a fever. Vera knows this part. She remembers Kai going through it. She mixes a fever reducer into water and gets it down Rosalie's throat. Then she waits. She also sends a transfer to Selu, 200 Z-cores. "Thanks for the help. If this isn't enough, let me know." Whatever Shelu's deeper motive is, she's grateful. He saved Mrs. Sinclair's life. Judge people by what they do, not by what they want. And what Selu did mattered. The starbound dimension. Well, anything new on the read? Selu asks. He's surrounded by a team of specialists, not Z-core researchers. Analysts assigned to one specific subject, Vera. Based on observed behavior, she's loyal. Values relationships. High personal ethics, a psychologist says. She's willing to pay top price to save a life. She also returned the Z-cores without being asked. Profile traits point to a reliable trade partner. We should pivot to active support, not passive waiting. Agreed. Same here. The other analysts nod. Good. Next phase. Character mapping and environmental modeling. We use her profile to predict what categories of supplies she'll demand, Selu says. The sociologists and trade negotiators nod along. My read. She'll want gene serum, one specialist says. Based on the timeline, her genetic baseline is still natural. Pre-evolution. Z-cores unlock potential, but the chassis still matters. Endorsed. Endorsed. Is her post-collapse world short on food? We have surplus nutrient solution, a sociologist asks. Endorsed. Good. I'll open the conversation. Shalou says. He messages Vera. Could I trouble you for another 50 Z-cores? I also have gene serum and nutrient solution available for trade. The gene serum measurably enhances physical capability. If your current punch is 200 pounds, post-treatment, it'll be 800. The nutrient solution covers a full day's energy in one dose. No other food required. Vera is intrigued. She doesn't show it. She replies, done. I don't need a lot of nutrient solution right now, though. What are your rates? Cello, you aren't short on food? She considers, then decides to share. I have a separate channel for modern era food supplies. She figures the people in the starbound dimension live on nutrient solution. Real, fresh food has to be a luxury over there. If so, she has another angle to trade. She turns out to be right. Selu, could you trade some to me? Then immediately, how are you connecting to so many dimensions? Vera blinks. She'd thought the system just auto-upgraded into new dimensions. System incorrect. They're connecting to you. That's what gives them cross-dimensional trade capability in the first place. Vera, so I'm the system's favorite? System, you are the system's chosen. Vera replies to Chelu plainly. No point hiding it. We can trade. My system is the host system. It can connect to multiple dimensions. Yours is a subsystem. It can't connect to other systems on its own. This advantage is worth keeping on the table. Selu frowns at the message. He doesn't take it on faith. He calls up his own system. Can I connect to other dimensions? System. Insufficient authority. Connection denied. He pushes. How do I upgrade authority? System. Upgrade. Not available. He drops it. The picture sharpens. Vera matters even more than he'd guessed. If she can plug into higher-tier dimensions, the catalog of available goods only gets richer. He briefs his analysts immediately. A negotiator speaks first. Even at a cost to ourselves, we keep her happy. If she connects to a higher dimension, we'll be in position to ride the wave. Selu tightens his composure. He sends the offer. 5 vials of nutrient solution per Z-core. 1 vial of gene serum for 50 Z-cores. Gene serum is rare on our side. He isn't gouging her. Gene serum is everyday luxury for noble houses like his, but for ordinary citizens, it's a lifetime savings purchase. And ordinary grade gene serum isn't even what he's selling. Vera, deal. Chafio packs 10 vials of gene serum and 100 vials of nutrient solution. That's 520 Z-cores plus the 50 owed for the medicine. The system pings. Transaction failed. Vera winces. She forgot. Most of her Z-core stock just went out in the last transfer. She only has a few dozen left. Vera, sorry, I don't have enough on hand. I'll regroup as fast as I can and complete the trade then. Cello, unexpectedly, doesn't hesitate. Cello, no need to wait. I'll send the goods now. Pay me back when you have it. He pushes the items through without holding collateral. He is, essentially, betting on her character. If she wanted to skip on the debt, Selu couldn't do a thing about it. Vera guesses correctly that her offhand mention of rare goods lit Selu up. She doesn't refuse. She accepts the package. Vera, got it. Thanks. System-verified items don't have surprises. She uses the gene serum on herself. She regrets the timing immediately. Damn it. Selu didn't mention that it hurts like this. It feels like something is paring out the rotten flesh inside her. Bone deep, every nerve at once. Vera locks up. She bites down on her teeth and rides it. The pain doesn't last forever, maybe 10 minutes. But she comes out of it drenched. Her face is colorless. She sits a while and feels the change. Lighter. Stronger. The improvement is real and obvious. Selu had also said the serum keeps working underneath the surface for about a week. Full absorption isn't immediate. What she's feeling now is only the surface change. Vera heads to the master cabin's bathroom. In the past 2 weeks, almost no one in the group has had a proper wash. She and Kai have had it easier. They could clean up in the president's office restroom with body wash and shampoo. Kieran's group, on the other hand, hadn't had it that good. They had been stuck in the staff dorm. They'd stockpiled around 10 large water jugs before the collapse, enough to drink, not enough to wash. By now, they're all unmistakably ragged. Vera, now, has a mobile fortress. No more hygiene problem. The F-11 carries a large tank. Empty it, refill it. The system has all the water she needs. She walks into the bedroom. Kai is just out of his own shower, sitting on the bed, absorbing a Z-core. He sees her and immediately stands up. Are you all right? You look pale. He sees the sweat. He sees the colorless face. I'm fine. Let me shower first. I'll tell you after. She just wants the sweat off her skin. Okay. The bathroom has a deep soaking tub. She rinses, soaps up, rinses again, then lowers herself in. She lets out a long breath. That's better. Warm water, steady jets, soft pulse cycle. The bath is engineered for someone to actually feel human in. Vera lets her head tip back. The emotional load of the day finally hits her all at once. She's exhausted in a way she can't usually let herself be. The water carries the edge off. She uses the smart air dryer to wick away the moisture and steps out. Kai studies her. Vera, something's different about you. Is it that obvious? He nods. You look healthier. Even he sounds uncertain saying it, but it's true. Vera had always been slight, a little pale from years of stretched nutrition. Now her color is warm. Her frame looks more even. You guessed right. Vera takes a vial of gene serum out of the system and tosses it to him. Here, Starbound gene serum. Just a warning, it hurts coming in. She pauses. First 10 minutes are rough, but it's worth it. Kai doesn't hesitate. He cracks the seal and drinks it. He grunts and sinks straight to the floor. Vera hands him a pillow to hold. 10 minutes later, he exhales like he's just surfaced from deep water. I should not have showered first. He looks at her, defeated. Now I have to do it again. Vera laughs. Vera? Rosalie's voice comes through the door. Vera opens it fast. Rosalie, you're up already. That's faster than she expected. Maybe because Rosalie's awakening was emotional, not physical exhaustion. The recovery was quicker. Yeah, I think I have a gift. Rosalie says it half-stunned. Yeah, congrats. They settle onto the lounge sofa. Can you feel what it is? Rosalie closes her eyes. After a long pause, I think it's water. Focus on the energy moving through your body. Try to merge your mental presence into that current. Vera coaches her. Then nudge it. Direct it. Rosalie tries. After a stretch, a thin thread of water curls out of her fingertip. That's it. Hold the current steady. Keep the thread. A few seconds later, the strength leaves her. The water drops to the floor. That was good. Rosalie isn't satisfied. Vera, I want to take out some of the infected too. Sure. You need basic control first. I'll practice. Vera watches the shift in her. Before today, Rosalie had been the daughter of a household that protected her from every sharp corner. She had grown up in soft light. Today, she watched a man murder her father, and she didn't look away. The princess didn't survive that. Someone steadier took her place. Rosalie, Vera says. Whatever else she meant to say doesn't quite make it. She just pulls her into a hug. If Vera could choose, Rosalie would never have had to grow up like this. Vera had come up out of mud. Rosalie was the small sun in her sky. The thing Vera had wanted most all along was to keep her like that, bright, intact. But they had been late. Mr. Sinclair couldn't be saved. She couldn't take the wound away. Vera, I have to be strong now. Rosalie's voice is low. My mom still needs me. I know. Whatever you decide to do, I'm with you. She pulls out another vial of gene serum. This is the gene serum. It'll lift your physical base. It's going to hurt. You just awakened, so I'd give it 2 days before you use it. Rosalie takes it. Steady. Vera, you've helped me too much. Pretending we're polite about that anymore. That's fake. Whatever you need from me, you have it. Vera smiles softly. When you've helped me, I never stood on ceremony either. Rosalie tries a smile. It doesn't hold. The grief pulls her back under. I don't want to wait. Can I take it now? It's your call. Rosalie tips back the vial. For the next 10 minutes, her fists clench. Her nails dig into her palms. Her jaw locks. But she doesn't make a sound. Vera's heart breaks watching her. Before the collapse, a paper cut would have had Rosalie milking it for an hour. Now she's enduring something Vera herself winced through, and not letting one word escape. Go take a hot soak. It helps. The downstairs bathroom of the F11 has a tub too. Whoever designed this thing thought about comfort. Yeah. Vera goes back to the master cabin. Kai is out of the shower already. That was Rosalie? She's grown up. A lot. Vera's voice is quiet. Hard times do that to people. I keep wondering how our families are. In the collapse, the zombies aren't the only thing to fear. People are Vera is afraid that Ivy or Aunt Lynn will pay a price for being kind. Kai understands the worry. He knows his own mother, Mira Lynn, would help anyone. She always has. Before the collapse, that was a virtue. Now it can be a death sentence. I hope they hold on until we get there. Kai says, quiet. Yeah, so we don't drag this trip out. We push through. The vehicle is loaded. If we don't have to stop, we don't stop. Kai nods, then catches himself. Quentin's group can't run that hard, though. Long drives wear them down. Driving overnight is worse. The infected are sharper at night. Vera frowns. Fair point. Let me work on it. She's already considering whether she can pry another mobile vehicle out of Selu. Not the F-11 tier, just something with seating for the rest of the group. Okay, so we still find a place to stop tonight. We can use the downtime to take out infected, bank some Z-cores. Vera is already thinking about the debt. By now, both vehicles are on the highway, pushing speed. The road is mostly empty. A few stalled or abandoned cars on the shoulder. Infected are sparser out here than inside the city. Vera and Kai let themselves close their eyes for a few minutes. Elsewhere, Kieran's group is sweeping a service station for supplies. I told you we should have gone. Barely a dozen infected, more loot than we know what to do with. Way better than sitting in an empty campus, right? Chase struts. Yeah, you called it. But how did Vera's group get past it? We had to wade through infected to get out. Right? Weird. Lucky for us, Chase's gift is strong. Those metal blades took heads off clean. Everyone hand the Z-cores to Chase. We need the 3 gifted in the group to power up first. The crowd that just saw Chase's gift in action piles on the praise. Kieran stands at the edge of it, jaw tight. He'd been the first one to awaken. Everyone had followed him. Now Chase is outpacing him on infected kills. His own Earth gift can wall things off, slow infected down. That's it. Hey, vehicle incoming. Warren is the first to spot it. Is that Vera's group? Yeah, that's them. That truck looks safe. Like, really safe. Kieran snaps back into focus. Get in. Leave the supplies. We can pick them up another time. The group moves, faster than usual. They've all reached the same conclusion. Trailing behind Vera is the smart play. They board the executive van and tuck in close behind the convoy. A few hours of dull highway pass. At dusk, Vera pulls into a service area. Quentin's SUV follows. Kieran's van parks at a respectful distance. Vera and the others step out. Mrs. Sinclair stays on board, resting. Quentin, everyone okay? Driving going all right? We're good, Quentin says. Me, Tate, and Dr. Lane have been rotating. Bex looks a little embarrassed. I never learned to drive. Tate pats her on the shoulder. All good. The group takes out a handful of infected service station staff, half-rotted. We should pull some supplies, Quentin says. We can't keep living off Vera's stockpile. Vera doesn't argue. The instinct is the right one. Chase's crew shoulders in. Some people pull all that loot and won't even share with their teammates. Selfish, huh? That's right. No shame at all. Not an ounce of decency. Bex wants to fire back, but the words tangle in her throat. Her face just goes red. Tate, dead serious. Vera's not starving us. The past 2 days we ate shrimp hot pot, grilled meat, roast duck, sushi. He counts them off one by one. Oh, and coconut milk. Every face on the other side curdles. Where'd all that come from? Warren asks, suspicious. Tate scratches his head. Vera gave it to us. That's not what I asked. Those are cooked meals. How does Vera have them? Warren can't help himself, repeating it. No idea. Tate shrugs. You messing with me? Chase snaps and lunges forward. But Vera's raised hand freezes him in place. Quentin pulls Tate behind him. His eyes lock on Kieran, Chase, and the rest. You know why Vera brought us with her and left you behind? He pauses. Because we know gratitude, and we have a moral compass. You don't. Vera's group eats inside the rest stop dining area. Dishes cover the table the way they always do. She has resources now. No point starving her own stomach. Voices carry. Laughter rolls. Everyone knows what happened today. Everyone knows Rosalie's mood is in pieces. So they keep the talk light, try to pull her attention sideways. Kieran's group sits a few tables over, right at the edge of the dining area. The smell from Vera's side still drifts to them. Tonight we feast instant noodles. Kieran refuses to let his people sulk. 2 hot dogs each. No one complains. They dig in. The past few days they've skipped too many meals. A bowl of noodles tastes like a banquet now, only Chase keeps glaring at Vera's table. Resentment piles up in his chest. After the meal, Vera plans to hunt infected for CORES. The area is too empty. She drops the idea. Everyone heads back to the RV. Surveillance system activated. AVA announces. The F-11 RV has an automatic security system. It scans for hostile biosignatures nearby and judges threat level. The catch: the F-11 isn't combat class, so it can only warn the people inside. It can't engage on its own. Still, at night it earns its keep. If infected approach, Vera gets the warning in time to back up Quentin and the others sleeping outside. Vera falls asleep in Kai's arms. The night passes quiet. The next day, the convoy rolls out again. Open fields stretch on both sides, hills folding into hills. Now and then, an animal carcass shows up, chewed half open. A chill runs through Vera. A thought slides in. Hey, could animals mutate too? They haven't seen one yet. But the bite marks on those carcasses don't match human teeth. The question won't leave her alone. Kai thinks for a moment. Very possible. The words settle like a warning bell. Infected made from humans top out at roughly normal human running speed. But a big cat, a wolf, anything airborne, the threat shifts hard. The only answer is to stay sharper. Vera still owes Telu his CORES, but no horde shows up on the road. Just stray infected here and there, not worth stopping the convoy. Toward late morning, they pass a factory. Even from the gate, she can see plenty of infected inside. Vera stops the RV at a distance. I need to pull a big batch of CORES fast. You all can stop here for lunch. She glances at Chase and the others, who just pulled in behind, and raises her voice. I'll be back soon. I'll come with you, Kai says. My range is longer. I can pin their positions easier. Vera thinks for a second, then nods, but unease still tugs at her. She pulls out a laser pistol and slides it to Rosalie. If anything goes wrong, use this, Vera says low. Got it. Rosalie understands. Vera and Kai head into the factory. The plant isn't small. Several workshops. A few hundred people worked here once. Most of the infected are Tier 1, a handful of Tier 2 in the mix. Vera and Kai deliberately make noise, baiting the infected out into the open yard, then take them down fast. With their gifts at full charge, Tier 2 isn't a real threat anymore. Then, out of nowhere, a fireball blooms behind Vera. She has no time to react. Flame licks the hem of her jacket before she manages to phase out of range. There's a gifted here. Vera barks the warning. Kai's brow knits. He sweeps the perimeter with his mental sense. I can't feel a human signature. His voice carries unease. That tightens Vera's guard further. Whatever's out there, it can hide from Kai's sense and ambush her with a gift. The picture isn't pretty. Found it. Kai's voice goes sharp. Second floor of the workshop, it's an infected. Stronger one. Likely Tier 3. He opens a mental link, lets her feel the position herself. She tilts her head up. Behind a window curtain, a cold, dead-bright pair of eyes is tracking them. Meanwhile, back at the convoy, while Vera and Kai are pinned by the Tier 3, something clicks in Chase's head. His eyes flick between Rosalie's group and the factory where Vera disappeared. He makes up his mind. No hesitation. Chase moves in and slashes. A metal blade arcs through the air, cutting into Quentin and Tate mid-meal. Ah! Quentin yelps. A deep gash carves across his back, muscle laid open. Tate fares no better. His right shoulder splits open. The arm hangs useless. Rosalie's eyes go wide. She rips the laser pistol from inside her jacket. But Chase sees the weapon and registers the threat instantly. In a flash of rage and panic, he hurls a metal blade across the gap. Rosalie barely manages to condense a thin water shield. The force is too much. She only blunts the edge, not the blow. The blade tears into her right wrist, cutting deep. The pain rips through her. The pistol drops. She tries to scoop it up with her left hand. Chase is already on her, conjuring a steel sphere that slams into the back of her left hand. A dry crack, bone snapping, echoes between them. Chase shoves Rosalie sideways. Her head cracks against a rock. He sprints toward the RV, almost giddy. But Bex swings a baseball bat at the back of his skull. Chase senses the wind behind him, whips around, catches the bat inches from his face. Bex grits her teeth, throws everything she has into the swing. It doesn't budge. Chase smirks. Couldn't even read your own weight. He flips the bat around and drives it straight into Bex's face. Crimson sprays. Nothing blocks his path now. Chase reaches the RV and tries to climb up. But he isn't family. He isn't a guest. AVA doesn't open the door. He pounds on it, then unloads his gift, slamming metal into the door, trying to force it. Nothing. Not even a scratch. The sight only hardens his resolve. He stalks back to Rosalie. 2 hard slaps bring her around. Open the door! Chase snarls. Or I end you. Rosalie just looks at him, then closes her eyes. She says nothing. The RV is Vera's. Vera's mother lies frail inside it. Even if it costs Rosalie her life, Chase isn't getting what he wants. Chase's hand swings back to hit her again. Someone yanks him off. He spins, ready to throw a punch. It's Kieran. Chase, that's enough. You really going to kill people? Kieran says. Kieran, I just want all of us inside that RV, Chase explains. Vera's too selfish. The only option is to take it. Kieran's face tightens. But doing it like this, Chase cuts him off. I know you still have feelings for her. I'm not trying to murder anyone. They just need to cooperate. He turns back to Rosalie. Tell me how to get in. Then everything ends quiet. Otherwise, I work through your friends, one by one. Kieran lurches forward, pulling at him. Don't. You've already wounded them. What happens when Vera comes back? Chase stares him down. That's exactly why I have to finish it. If I don't take the RV when she comes back, I'm gone. You want to watch me fall? He locks eyes with Kieran, and the second he sees the hesitation crack open, he piles on. I'm just threatening. I won't actually do it. Kieran seems to weigh the lie. He lets go. Steps back. The rest of Kieran's group hangs at a distance. One girl can't bear to watch. She covers her eyes, but others are quietly rooting for Chase. Chase is the only one thinking about all of us. Vera, with everything she has, doesn't share a thing. I've been sick of their group for a while. What makes them so special? Yesterday they were strutting in front of us. Now look at them. I'm enjoying every second. But these are still students, 2 weeks into the apocalypse. They'll mutter behind backs. None will step up and help Chase actually take a life. Warren says nothing. He's calculating. Vex is calculating too. If Chase grabs the RV, perfect. If he fails, Vera is done with Kieran for good. Then Vex won't have to worry about a reconciliation pushing her out. Chase turns back to Rosalie. He's about to swing again. Tate slams into him. For the first time, something feral surfaces in Tate's face. Blood streams down his shoulder. He plants himself between Rosalie and Chase, glaring. Chase isn't even bruised. You want to go first? I can arrange that. Quentin grits his teeth and drags himself over, blocking the path too. You take us out? Vera won't let you live? Quentin's lips are white from blood loss. Chase knows it. That's exactly why he's racing the clock. His eyes flick back to the factory. Still no Vera, but it's been over 20 minutes. She could be back any second. The bodies in front of him are clearly ready to die. Chase loses what's left of his control. He condenses another metal blade and fires it straight at them. Quentin closes his eyes. Doesn't try to dodge. Tate moves to block. Half a beat too slow. Quentin opens his eyes. No pain. Dr. Lane has thrown herself in front of him. The blade carved her arm off at the elbow. Half of it lies on the gravel. Ah! The sound that rips out of her is unbearable. Dr. Lane. Tate and Bex cry out together. Bex tears off her shirt, presses it hard against the stump. Chase doesn't care about old teacher-student bonds. Move. He snarls. He kicks them both down. Bex doesn't even register her own injuries. She's locked on Dr. Lane. Something in Chase snaps loose. He stops using his gift. He just goes raw. Pure animal. Fists and boots on Quentin. Quentin was always the bookish one. His body can't take this. Not against an awakened gifted. A few hits and he's nearly gone. Tate roars and uses his left arm to block a punch. But he's bleeding from too many places. He's no match. In seconds, he drops next to Quentin. Nothing left between Chase and Rosalie now. He drags her up by the hair. Still nothing? You want them all gone? Tears slide down Rosalie's face. Inside the RV is the only family she has left. Outside, the people who walked through hell with her. Watching them bleed out, it hollows her chest. Chase drags her to the door, smashes her head against it. Last chance. Open it. His hand clamps her throat. Her lips move. A breath of a voice. AVA? Inside the factory. Vera's fury climbs the stairs ahead of her. The Tier 3 infected hides behind the window, too far for a direct strike. Kai's offense is weaker. He can't end this one alone. But the thing is clever. The moment they close in, it pulls back to keep distance. Vera doesn't trust the angle. Could be a trap. She thinks for a second, then phase shifts with Kai in tow. The drain is heavy, but the Z-cores from the regular infected refill her enough to keep going. A few shifts in, the Tier 3 figures out it can't outrun her. It turns and counterattacks. A volley of fireballs rips toward them. Vera pulls every molecule of oxygen from the space in front of her. A vacuum bubble snaps into place. The fireballs hit the void. They snuff out instantly. The infected stalls for a heartbeat, processing what just happened. It tries again. Bigger fireball. This time, Vera doesn't burn her gift. Her enhanced body handles it. She sidesteps clean. So Tier 3 means smarter and gifted. That's it. Vera says. Kai nods. This one isn't a real problem. All right, quick work. Vera mutters. Old trick. Still effective. She tears the space around its skull and pulls the core out clean. Yellow? Her interest spikes. Tier 1 cores are colorless. Tier 2 are pale. Tier 3, gold. Nothing else in the factory rises to that tier. Vera works through the corpses methodically. Several hundred Z-cores. Over 20 pale Z-cores. That's all of them, Kai confirms. Good, let's move. Vera is satisfied. Back at the RV, hearing Rosalie's voice at last, Chase's face brightens. The RV isn't ordinary. Once he's inside, once he has control, he leaves immediately. Then it won't matter how strong Vera is. She won't catch him. But Rosalie is whispering. He has to lean in to catch it. That's when her face changes. Her fist drives straight into his nose. She's been through the gene serum. The punch carries more weight than any normal human's. Almost every ounce she has left goes into it. Chase wasn't expecting her to fight back. His nasal bone snaps. Pain floods his face. Tears spill before he can stop them. Seeing him bleed for once, Rosalie lets out 2 ragged laughs of pure satisfaction. Blood, mixed with foam, edges her mouth. Sorry, she whispers toward Quentin and the others. Chase, in pain and rage, raises his fist like a storm. She curls into herself, hands shielding her head. But Bex throws herself in again. She's already empty. All she can do is wrap both arms around Chase's legs to slow him. Chase wasn't dealing fatally with Rosalie because he still needed her for the door. For Bex, he has no such restraint. He summons a metal blade. No hesitation. 1 stab. 2. 3. Bex holds on. A single thought loops in her head. Buy time until Vera gets back. Vera and Kai have just stepped out of the factory, heading back toward the others. Maybe 300 yards. But a 6-lane highway sits between them. Halfway across, Vera senses something wrong. Her senses have been sharpened by her gift and the gene serum. The smell of fresh blood drifts in the air. There was no blood when they left. And the infected they kill only smell of rot, never fresh. Dread spikes. Vera grabs Kai and phase shifts. 3 seconds later, they're back at the convoy. Chase has his blade raised, ready for another stab into Bex. The scene. The blood pooled everywhere, short-circuits Vera's thinking. Chase only realizes she's behind him a beat too late. Her eyes carry a quiet, killing weight, like she's already looking at a corpse. Chase knows his plan is dead, but instead of accepting it, he gambles. He's absorbed plenty of Z-cores these past days. There might still be an angle. He spins, blade flashing toward Vera. It hits something invisible. A wall of compressed air. A flat ting. The blade stops mid-strike. He covers himself in metal plating, bracing for whatever comes. Kai doesn't look at Chase. He's already moving, checking the wounded. Vera. This is bad. They've lost too much blood. His voice in her head is tight. The words pull her back into focus. No time to make Chase suffer slow. Saving them comes first. She compresses the space around Chase's body. All his bones grind at once. The metal plate becomes a vice, locking into his skin and crushing inward. Chase's scream tears the air. But he's still alive. Gifted bodies are durable like that. Vera ignores him. She pulls supplies from her spatial pocket fast. She and Kai dose each survivor with cellular regeneration compound, follow up with a medical nanobot injection, then they check vitals, one by one. Only one bioenergy vial left. She has to choose right. Quentin and Tate are stable. Dr. Lane lost a lot of blood but isn't critical, Kai says. Rosalie and Bex are worse. Bex especially, 16 stab wounds. Multiple organs hit. Vera reaches Rosalie and Bex. Rosalie is still awake, voice thin. Save. Bex, I'm okay. Vera can feel Bex's life force dropping. No hesitation. She injects the bioenergy vial. A few seconds in, energy starts building inside Bex's body. Fast. She's awakening a gift. Vera exhales. If a gift awakens, vitality skyrockets. Bex will pull through. Thank God. Shilu pushed those emergency vials her way yesterday. Without them, she would have lost people. But the regret still gnaws. This one is on her. She underestimated Chase. She left them exposed. She knew Chase had it in him. She thought 20 minutes in the factory was nothing, that he wouldn't dare. She left a laser pistol with Rosalie just in case. She didn't account for the Tier 3 slowing her down. She didn't think Chase would escalate this far after his recent upgrade. She files the lesson away. The compound does its work. Wounds visibly close. Rosalie heals fastest. The gene serum and her newly awakened gift amplify everything. But Dr. Lane's lost arm, that doesn't grow back. Vera steps off the RV. Across the way, Kai already has Kieran, Vex, and the rest locked down. When they see Vera coming back, they try to bolt. But Kieran can't bring himself to abandon Chase. He drags the moment out a few minutes longer. Kai picks them up clean. Vera, let Chase off. He didn't really mean to hurt anyone. Kieran shouts the second she's in range. The words land, and even his own group flinches. They start to wonder, why have they been following someone this clueless? The situation goes critical, and instead of running, he begs for Chase. Vera can't believe her ears. Let Chase off? Kieran, have you lost your mind? I'm still deciding whether to let the rest of you off. Kieran stares. What more do you want from us? We didn't. A flat-handed slap from Vera lands across his face. His head snaps sideways. A bloody tooth flies out. Vera, you. Another slap. The other side. Then another. And another. By the time she stops, his face is swollen pig-round and teeth scatter the dirt. Awake now? She asks. Level. Kieran looks down in shame. Aside from Chase, did anyone else lift a hand? Vera asks. No. None of us touched anyone. Felix yelps. Vera shifts her gaze to the others. Every one of them rushes to distance themselves. Honest. It was all Chase. Yeah, we never wanted any of this. Vera, look. When you came back, we were over here. Nobody crossed over. Her silence makes them panic harder. We really didn't do anything. We're classmates, how could we? Chase was jealous of your food, your ride. That's why he tried to take the RV. I told him to stop. But he's gifted. I couldn't hold him back. Vera doesn't answer. She turns back to the RV. How to handle them. That depends on what Rosalie and the wounded want. Rosalie is steadier now. Vera, I want to end Chase myself, she says, firm. Vera doesn't argue. Okay. Anyone else? Vera asks. Rosalie shakes her head. Only Chase. Kieran tried to stop him at one point, but ultimately he let it happen. Do you want them gone? Vera asks. Rosalie thinks. They're not good people, but they don't all deserve to die. Vera, don't break your own rules for us. Got it. Vera says, Lo. They both step off the RV. Chase is still rolling on the dirt, moaning. Don't end me. I'm sorry. The moment he sees Vera and Rosalie coming, he begs. He doesn't want to fall. He just awakened a gift. He hasn't done any of the things he pictured. Rosalie picks the laser pistol off the ground, levels it at his head. No, Rosalie, I'm sorry. We used to eat together. Chase tries to soften her. The next second, she pulls the trigger. The laser pierces his skull. Chase falls. Same kind of garbage as Walden Burke. Rosalie says, eyes hard. The kind that won't stop until they take what isn't theirs. Vera nods. That kind earns the ending they get. Vera walks to Kieran's group. She lifts a hand and cleaves their business SUV in half down the middle. They scream. Ah, what are you doing? Our vehicle. This really has nothing to do with us. Vex and Kieran shake. What unnerves them isn't the noise. It's Vera's strength. That SUV was solid metal. Vex awakened her own gift, a week after Vera. Her best effort right now would scratch skin. Kieran awakened even earlier. The gap between them is a canyon. Vera's voice cuts cold. You should be grateful you didn't help Chase. But standing by, that costs you something too. Don't think I missed it. A bunch of you were hoping Chase would actually take my RV. The group falls quiet, faces dark. Your supplies. I'm taking those. Call it compensation for the wounded. She sweeps every crate, every pack from their vehicle into her spatial pocket. Don't let me see you again. She throws them one cold look and walks away. Kieran tries to follow. Then his head explodes with pain. Kai brushes past him, calm, falling in behind Vera. Kieran sinks to his knees, clutching his skull. No idea what just happened. Given the state Quentin and the others are in, there's no way they can drive their own vehicle. Vera decides to swap for a second one from Cello. For now, they all squeeze onto her RV. After today, she has enough faith in their character. Even against impossible odds, they put their bodies between Chase and the others. In her mind, they're now her people. As long as they don't betray her or cross a line, she'll cover them for life. Their off-road vehicle still has some salvage supplies inside. Vera thinks for a beat, then sweeps those into her space on the way past. Once the new vehicle arrives, she'll hand the supplies back, along with what she took from Kieran. Back inside the RV. Everyone's still resting. No one's awake yet, but breathing has steadied. Vitals look good. Vera tells AVA to drive, then takes inventory of today's haul. Total, 481 Z-cores. 23 pale Z-cores. 1 glowing Z-core. That covers what she owes Selu. The system trades at 1 pale to 10 regular. Vera isn't using that ratio with outside partners. By raw energy, a pale Z-core is worth at least 25 to 30 regular ones. It's also cleaner, easier to absorb. Like luxury goods commanding premium prices, Vera plans to sell tiered cores as premium stock. The glowing Z-core, though, she keeps. Drops it into the system. Trade cores don't count toward leveling. The system still hasn't hit Tier 3. Upgrade progress, Tier 2, 384 of 1,000. The rest she'll work out after settling with Selu. She opens the channel. Vera. I have everything, but some are pale. Can we count 1 pale Z-core as 50 regular ones? Selu hasn't returned to his unit in days. Family wants him focused on Z-core research and pulling more from her. The first batch, once cleared as safe, was distributed to core family members for absorption. One relative stuck on the border between tiers, absorbed 10 Z-cores and broke through from B tier to A tier. That confirmation has lit a fire under everyone. Selu's been getting hounded daily. Relatives, aunts, uncles, all asking for cores for themselves and their kids. His rank doesn't shield him from family pressure. He's leaning hard on Vera to come through. He sees her message and replies fast. Selu. Agreed. On the first deal, she'd handed over pale Z-cores without a clean price set. The Federation researchers have analyzed them since. Pale Z-cores beat regular ones on capacity and purity, decisively. Selu doesn't think she's gouging him. He thinks it's a steal. Vera thinks it over. then decides to settle most of the debt in pale Z-cores. The system gives her 10 to 1. The outside market gives her 50 to 1. That's a 5 times spread. And for her, absorbing pale or regular makes barely a difference. The system filters impurities out of regular cores automatically anyway. She sends 11 pale Z-cores and 20 regular ones to Selu. Debt cleared. Vera. I also want to trade for more emergency medical supplies. And another vehicle. Selu is glad to see the request. Selu. Done. How many medical supplies do you need? On the vehicle, there might not be another F11. Last time I checked, there was only the one. Vera. No problem. Safety matters, not luxury. The more passengers it holds, the better. As for meds, as many as possible. But I'm low on Z-cores. Selu. Understood. There's a model that fits. Tomorrow, it's ready. They negotiate medical pricing. Final rates: 1 cellular regeneration compound, 5 Z-cores, 1 bioenergy vial, 50 Z-cores, 1 medical nanobot cartridge, 10 Z-cores. Selu. This vehicle is what our long-haul patrol units use. Carries over a dozen people. Cheaper than the F11. Call it 300 Z-cores. Vera. Done. Chelu thinks a second longer, then adds. Chelu. Heads up though. We all use hover vehicles here. Base speed is around 186 miles per hour. High-end models hit roughly 372. Vera's eyes widen. How did this not occur to her? It's the interstellar age. Of course, they're not driving ground vehicles. She regrets not asking earlier. Vera. How do hover vehicles trade? Selu. Standard models, about 300 Z-cores. In the Federation, hover cars are everyday transport. Nothing premium about them. But the speed Selu mentioned, those are luxury class. Vera fires back. Vera. Then I want one. How many people does it carry? Chelu. If you need more seats, hover buses fit 30, but they're slower. Standard hover cars seat 6. Vera does the math. 7 of them. So 2 cars. Vera. Then I'll take 2. But the researcher stopped Selu. He follows up. Selu, one thing. Your planet's gravity might not match ours. The hover cars might not function right. We need to test first. If conditions differ, we can design something compatible. He sends her a small environmental scanner. Selu. Open this. It'll pull the data automatically. Vera follows instructions. When the device finishes its reading, she sends it back through the link. Soon Selu replies. Selu. Significant difference. We'll need a redesign. Earliest production would be a month out. Vera deflates slightly. Vera. Then I'll have to wait. We'll trade once they're ready. Other supplies? They'll exchange when the new vehicle arrives tomorrow. Kieran's headache fades after about 15 minutes. But the sight of the wrecked SUV and the gutted supplies twists his stomach all over again. Lucky for him, Vera doesn't know that Vex has awakened a spatial gift too. Vex's space still holds reserves, enough to last a few days. Their bigger problem now, how to keep moving. Vex steps up to Kieran, voice low. Kieran, let's split off. He stares. What? Most of the supplies are gone. The vehicle's gone. Chase is done. I don't have enough left in my space for this many mouths. Vex says, level. Vera left them a vehicle. If we take it and split, we'll move easier. Kieran goes silent. He's wrestling with the image he's built, the leader who doesn't abandon people. But this push toward Linwood was his idea in the first place. Kieran isn't the man he was when his gift first awakened. Reality has driven a truth into him. They're too gifted, both barely above average. In this apocalypse, they're rocks against a wall. Saving themselves is already a stretch. He doesn't have the strength to protect this many people. He doesn't owe it. His silence pushes Vex past patient. His indecision used to work for her. Now it's going to get her killed. But she keeps her face calm and presses. Kieran, we don't have time to think. If we're going, we go now. But Warren. Kieran wants to bring Warren. Warren is one of the only 2 close friends he has left. Warren's too far. We won't make it. Vex's voice sharpens. The softness gone. The group's starting to drift closer. Kieran inhales. Fine. The two of them start walking fast toward the off-road vehicle Quentin and the others left behind. Someone notices. Kieran, where are you two going? Every head turns. He doesn't answer. He and Vex start to run. What are they doing? A girl shrieks. The group senses it. Kieran? Warren can't make himself believe it. He calls out. He's leaving us. Kieran, how could you? We trusted you. Hoo-hoo. Someone breaks down crying. The image of Kieran, the principled big brother, the one who'd shoulder anything for the team, collapses entirely. Some of the boys try to chase. The distance was already against them. Kieran and Vex have a head start. They're seconds from reaching the vehicle. A fireball slices through the air at an angle and slams into Kieran's back. He never sees it coming. The force throws him face first into the dirt. He howls, the smell of burnt skin and fabric rising off his back. The fireball came from Felix. Vex screams, glances back at the closing group, knows the play is dead. She doesn't even look at Kieran. She throws herself into the driver's seat to bolt alone. She slides in and freezes. No keys. Vera, of course, wasn't going to leave them a working vehicle. When she swept the supplies, she'd taken the keys with her. The mob catches up. The boys are past chivalry. They drag Vex out of the seat. Felix slaps her across the face. You snake! You were going to grab everything and run. Wanted us to starve. Others, thinking about the supplies in her space, supplies that almost left with her, pile in. Fists. Boots. Vex has never taken a beating like this. Even after the collapse, the group has babied her. She panics, cries, screams. I didn't. Sorry. Kieran made me do it. Hearing that, Kieran stares at her, stunned. In that moment, something inside him goes hollow. He has no idea what he's been doing the last 2 weeks. For a girl like this, he threw away Vera, the one person who treated him straight. Now he remembers everything Vera did for him. She once burned through her entire gift to save a classmate of his because of one word he asked. She backed every decision he made. In front of strangers, she always took his side. If she were the one cornered now, she'd take all the blame on herself. The thought drops Kieran into hatred for Vex. He piles the entire wreckage of his life with Vera onto Vex's head. If not for her, he'd be in the RV right now, eating like a king. A cold edge surfaces in his eyes. He opens his mouth. Vex told me there wasn't much in her space anyway. Said she didn't want to share. Said the two of us would survive better alone. I just lost my head for a minute. Fell for her line. The two of them start tearing into each other. Felix doesn't pick a side. He just delivers a fair beating to both. Someone next to him asks, almost reverent, Felix, when did you awaken? And fire. That's top tier. Felix smirks. Pretty recently. Enough to handle these two. Truth is, he awakened back at the school. But the group already had 3 gifted then, and nearly all the Z-Cores funneled to chase. Felix knew his place. Even with a gift, he wouldn't have seen a share worth taking. So he kept quiet. Hoarded. Absorbed CORES on the side. He'd planned to keep his head down longer. Develop. Strike when he was ready. Then today happened. Chase, the strongest one, went down to Vera like he was nothing. Kieran and Vex tried to skip out. Lucky for him, neither of them knew there was a 4th gifted in the group. That blind spot is what made the ambush easy. Hand it over. Everything in your space. Felix turns cold on Vex. He won't let her hold the supplies. She starts to talk back. Another hit drops her. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. She empties her space. Crates, packs, food, water. The group divides it up. Felix takes the biggest share. Kieran and Vex end with nothing. No one looks at them again. Not even Warren, who walks past them, cold, and falls in behind Felix. 60 miles away. The F-11 RV is rolling steady toward Linwood. The cabin is quiet. Just the slow rhythm of breathing. Quentin, Vex, and the others are mostly healed. They ate a little, then slept again. Another day passes. Notice, heavy congestion in the tunnel ahead. Route blocked, awaiting instructions. AVA's voice comes through. Vera moves to the cockpit, fast to look. It's a pileup. Dozens of cars rammed together right at the tunnel mouth. Several are burnt down to frames. Black smoke still hangs inside the tunnel. Can't make out what's beyond. Quentin and the others come up. Brutal. Probably didn't even get to turn. Burned alive first. Tate's shoulders tighten. Could be a few of them were already turning when they crashed. That's what kicked off the chain. Quentin reasons. We've reached Sutton. Kai reads the tunnel name. Halfway to Linwood from here. Yeah, Vera. But this route's done. We can't push through. Kai turns to AVA. AVA, plot an alternate route to Linwood. Route plotted. Please select. AVA projects two paths in front of them. One loops west through the outskirts of Sutton. The other arcs east, mostly mountain roads. Both add at least half a day. West, Kai says. We can clear some infected. Pick up CORES along the way. Vera nods. Good. AVA, go with Route 1. Acknowledged. Route updated. AVA replies, but as the RV reverses, the tires roll over an empty soda can. A sharp crinkle echoes. Stop the vehicle. Vera hears something inside the tunnel. I'm going to take a look.